You've met
Yes.
the Thane, Helig of Thane, and he wants us to go to Brackenberry and retrieve his grimoire.
As you wish.
Not sure how smart it is to give him his source of magic, but, well, he did promise us answers, and I imagine answers regarding, Roynan, I think it was, is what the person who hired us for this job
We gotta take better
wants.
care of Bella.
No kidding. Ouch. All right.
Well, a blade in the dark.
There we go. Please.
I see something.
Oh, yeah, see. Very good. All right. Everyone else, you can come now.
Aye?
Slow and silent. What is it?
So I'll stay like that for now. There's a Temple of Odika there. Wasn't there a further way down? Maybe not. Maybe that's the only exit. Yeah. Interesting that it's to a Temple of Odika further down. Though that is where the initiates of the soul we saw. That is where they were headed, so I suppose it makes sense. Oh. All right, then. The older robed man. And he's got a portrait, so he must be important. Someone who will probably be named later. In front of you looms the ghostly, hollow image of the man who was present at your awakening. Oh! Well, what did I just say? I just said, I found out much quicker than I expected. He casts a pale, sickly light in the dank corridor as he regards you. Actually, this is the main quest I accidentally found.
You are from Kratom, my dear?
His words are an echo in your mind from a time long past. And you know your response before you speak it, as if it has always been. Yes, I was born there. I came to live there years ago. Only recently. I'm not familiar with Kratom, and this is obviously my past life, but, sure. I was born there.
A remarkable city. Truly one of the most impressive we have encountered outside of our own. Many exceptional people who have joined our cause come from Kratom.
How old are you, older robed man?
What made you decide to join our order?
Your teachings spoke to me. The world needs to know about the true gods. Ooh. The gods have been good to me, and I wish to repay them. I went through dark times. Nothing made sense. That'll change when your order came to my homeland. So the gods grant miracles to your order. Let's go with the world needs to know about the true gods.
Remember never to be discouraged by those who cling to their beliefs. They are worthy of our pity, not our scorn.
Huh. Very interesting. I wonder how much truth there is to that actually, though. I've spoken, supposedly, to a god. So I'm inclined to believe that the standard pantheon is real.
Are you ready to take the oath? To spread the word of the gods to the lost and heathen?
I am. Oh. Well. That was something. Yeah, investigate the leaden keys activities. I've made my way into the chambers beneath the ruins of the Temple of Odika. Well, if what Merwald said is true, this is my best chance to find the letting key. Are we really ready to confront them? I was expecting to have to go to the actual temple. Oh. Let's back up for the moment. Like I said, I want to visit the actual Temple of Boudica first.
I've never been to Nasitak.
No.
Is it very cold? What creatures wander the tundra? How are your leaders chosen?
Huh.
You always ask this many questions?
Oh, all right, that's where she's from.
To get us started. Let me get out some parchment for notes.
I do like him.
Ask whatever you want. If I don't know, I'll make something up.
I like her too. I think they go well together. Let's see. Dalton. Have I talked? Wait, no, yeah. You're the person who gave me this quest. Now, Brackenberry is where they wanted us to go. That's where the, well, we have a bunch of quests in Brackenberry. But First Fires is where we need to go, I think, to get to the actual Temple of Boudica. Though we should probably rest first. Me and Aloth are pretty badly injured. Maybe they have a an inn at First Fires. Ooh. Love the architecture. That is a giant keep. I'm thinking no inn. Oh, more. All right, then. Oh, is it getting to daytime? Yeah, it looks like it's dawn.
What is it?
Anything to say to us about the First Fires? Only the best soldiers get to patrol the palace. Fair enough. And that is the Ducal Palace. That's the Valian Embassy. There's the temple. And Brackenberry. Not a lot of things here, actually. I mean, they're not going to let us into the Ducal Palace, surely. What? Come on. The stones of this ancient tower have been blackened by centuries-old fires, surrounded by a patch of wildflowers. Looks like a memorial. Huh. I guess you guys are souls? Yes. So, the Temple of Boudica has been burned? Oh, there's a ghost here. Weeds grow thick and full, untroubled by the passage of Kith. Why did I think that the, Temple of Boudica was a big thing here? Clearly, not what I thought. A
Come
ghost?
to pay your respects to the queen that was.
Not quite. A ghost hovers in the middle of the ruin, reciting blessings and prayers. Even as the spirit's form shifts and swirls, it retains the face of an elderly man and robes that mark wealth and status. It turns to you. Do you normally converse with people? Can everyone else see you? Who are you?
Lord Ardwellen Rugford III, and pleased to make your acquaintance. I came to the Deerwood on one of the first ships from Adia.
Oh, wow.
And unlike the yokels and hut dwellers around here, I still keep to the old ways.
I mean, you know you're dead, right? It's truly a pity to see what the locals have done to Wodika's house of worship. No kidding, I was shocked to see it. And what are you doing?
Worshipping Wodika,
Oh,
the
Wodika.
exiled queen and oathbinder. I come every day to offer my devotion. I'd love nothing more than to book passage back to Adia, but it is my emperor's wish that I serve in these barbaric lands. And so I do.
I don't think he knows he's a ghost. Also, I suppose when you consider that Wodika is a, you know, an exiled god / goddess, perhaps it makes sense that her temples are abandoned and or burned. Much like, not Edir, he's the guy, but the god, Aethys. I'd like to know more about Wodika.
A queen among the gods. She oversees laws and oaths.
Yeah.
Everything has a rightful place, and Wodika watches over them all.
Or she did.
Of course, not everyone accepts this. Even among the other gods, her authority is questioned. But Wodika is also goddess of memory and vengeance. And she remembers. She'll remember every slight and trespass when she reclaims her throne.
I kind of wonder if the Leaden Key are servants of Wodika, and their goal is perhaps to return her to her throne, or to see her vengeance done. Maybe. And we'll find out, of course, but you do know you're a ghost, right?
I beg your pardon? Is this some sort of joke where you come from?
I mean, I'm serious. Just look at yourself.
A madhouse. That's what this town really needs.
Oh, he's, yeah. What is a very sixth sense of you, you know? Doesn't, realize he's a ghost, that kind of thing. Alright then. Oh, and he's gone. Oh no, he's just moved. Well, it looks like we do have to go underground to find the current temple of Wodika. Fair enough. Quinolin Grapplewind.
All these circling feet heading nowhere.
Yeah? Wait, you don't like the people in the city? Vincent Agosti. Oh, it doesn't look like that's thieving. Might as well take it. Let's talk to you, Vincent. Wait. Okay, no, that is thieving. But let's see what's there. Nothing.
Welcome.
What can this humble servant of the Republics do for you? Well, tell me about the Vailian Republics. They are rich in all ways, in wealth, in style, in culture. If you were to go to the Republics, you would not want to leave. Why would you? The people are beautiful and charming, and a little full of themselves. I'm here because the Songreta Ducala wishes it. When my appointment is done, I'll be on the first ship out, and I will sing from here to Salona. Fair enough. You prefer your home. If there's nothing else, I must return to my duties. What do you do here? As the Vailian ambassador, my job is to ensure trade with the Darewood remains strong and profitable. Fair enough. also not thieving here. Selected correspondence of Giftbringer Eden. Sure, why not? No. Wait, how much does that require? I have Mechanics 5.
I'll see it done. It's finished.
Gets us a little bit of experience. I don't plan on stealing from it, though. We are not thieves, damn it. Mostly. Spread across the table are the blueprints of an in-progress trade deal between a merchant company from the Republics and a Derwooden Werewolf Collective. Huh. The flag depicts the symbol of the Valian Republics, a ship sailing beneath 5 radiant stars. Doesn't look like there's much in here for me. Maybe someday. These postings show current prices for a range of commodities, and they track the running exchange rate for the Valian Lusk. Anyone over here? No. I guess we could at least check out the Ducal Palace. Or head to Brackenbury. Or perhaps I should go to the temple, back to the temple first. Ravadavdur. A noble talking to a commoner? What does this world come to? Animancy isn't the problem, it's the solution to all our ills. Well, maybe. Business around here took a hit when Stalwart's mines dried up. Should we unlock the, Heritage Hill? They're just gonna let us into the Ducal Palace? Only people with official invitations are allowed to observe the Animancy hearings. The Animancy hearings. Sounds kind of cool. Oh, that's inside there. Nothing special. Sidley. Oh, that's the main entrance.
Good day, stranger.
The young woman wears a simple but well-tailored uniform. She watches the comings and goings around her with quiet attention. Any news to share, or are you just here to see the Ducal Palace? Well, what is the Ducal Palace? Obviously the palace for the Duke, but it's the seat of government here in Defiance Bay. This is where Duke Admeth Hadrit declared freedom from Adaran rule some 150 years ago. She lowers her voice and grins. It's also a hotbed of regional politics. Trust me, the gossip here beats what you'll find in any tavern or brothel in the city. Oh, I'll bet. Especially amongst the staff, right? Ah, dear wooden politics. It changes too quickly to be worth keeping up with. Better to strike up conversation at in the taverns than try to loiter inconspicuously in the palace corridors. And who are you? I'm a page here at the palace. I deliver messages and run errands for the Duke and his advisors. Pay is not great, but I can't think of a better introduction to politics. I mean, not to mention as a page. Won't you eventually become a squire and then a knight? What goes on in here? She laughs. Where to start? We've got meetings, public hearings, and ceremonies, and that's just the stuff that happens out in the open. She leans a little closer. This is where the Duke and his key advisors work, so there's always someone bartering for a favor. Unfortunately, I'm not at liberty to talk about that side of things. But if you want the official version, she clears her throat and gestures counterclockwise around the palace. We have a shrine devoted to Magran, official records, and chambers for public hearings and council meetings. Oh, hey, Mogren. There you go, Durance. Tell me about the Shrine of Mogren. It's a symbol of Mogren's protection of Defiance Bay. She's represented the revolutionary spirit of the Durwood ever since independence, and her involvement in creating the Godhammer bomb only affirmed her importance to us. She scratches her neck. That's also where the first of the sacred fires burn, but Firga, the Tranquil Ardent, has had trouble keeping them lit. Presumably like the head priest/priestess or something. What kind of records are stored here? Mostly dull official stuff. Census counts, tax records, militia registers. Now, I keep my distance. I got curious one day and got drafted into reshoving half the records. Oh, worst day of my life. It does sound pretty miserable. I wonder if there's any sort of freedom of information here. As in, is anyone allowed to access these records? Or are they restricted? Is there a hearing going on right now? Sure is. Duke Ever's been meeting with some of the city leaders for weeks now, trying to figure out how to address the legacy. Oh, I'm glad to hear that they're trying. The whole business is terribly secret, though. I tried to sit in the gallery during my lunch break one day and got turned away. She sniffs. But a lot of the talk concerns animancy, so there's good reason they're keeping the meetings behind closed doors. Why is animancy so controversial? She laughs. Where to begin? Traditionalists think it's a crime against the gods. There's no question that poking around in the souls is risky, but the more progressive elements believe it's our only shot at restoring healthy births. And it doesn't help matters that animancy research often involves old Angwithan relics that were illegally looted from ruins in Air Glanfath. She makes a quick twitching motion with her index finger and middle finger. And what do you think about animancy? Me? I think the real danger of animancy is confusing a real scholar with an expensive fake. Oh, very, very, very true. Seems to be a common problem, is the frauds. We get a new case here every day. Some poor couple in the Gift or Copper Lane who spent every copper they had on a miracle cure for their unborn child. It never works. She shakes her head. Breaks your heart. But there's usually nothing we can do for them. And tell me more about what you know about the legacy. Widewind's legacy. That's what a lot of people call the Rash of Hollowborn. The theory goes that it's punishment for meddling in animancy. And what are Hollowborn? She raises an eyebrow. You really are fresh from the road. Hollowborn are children born without souls. They often don't live for very long, and those that do have generally received some kind of treatment from the animancers. Oh. So the animancers are at least able to stave off death. Granted, they don't have souls, so I'm not sure that's a good thing. I see. Anyway, the legacy is what the politicians have all been whispering about lately. And I'd like to ask about something else. Tell me about the current Duke. That would be Ever Wolfgren. Don't let the title fool you, though. Our Dukes have been elected since independence. That's kind of cool. So, some find Duke Avar, we'll go with Avar. Some find Duke Avar rather coarse. He's a frontier noble. Personally, I think a rough and tumble type is just what Defiance Bay needs. Of course, yeah. They only elect people from among the nobility, presumably. But I suppose that's actually kind of like the old England, like pre William the Conqueror England. I think that's how they did it. All right, though. All right, let's continue looking around the palace a little bit, at least. Oh, there's Firga. And a stone figure of a warrior gazes toward her raised hand. It's empty, but the palm and fingers are blackened.
Hello.
The woman's head is bowed as her lips move in prayer. Just as you approach, you catch her glimpsing at the statue near her. She notices you and forces a smile. Praise be to Magran, and welcome to her temple. How may I be of service? You seem upset. What's wrong? Her shoulders slump. This is about the fires, isn't it? She puts a hand on your shoulder. They're just symbols. You can't put your faith in them. Fires. She sighs. Oh, the sacred pyres all around town. You must have seen the statues of the goddess around the city, holding up empty braziers. I've kept them burning steadily for 15 years, and I haven't been able to conjure them for months now. And people need to see them more than ever these days. So go light them again. I see plenty of flames here. They don't work that way. They're holy fires. Oh, like legitimately. It's my devotions and prayers that keep them lit. But lately, when I try to pray, all I can think about are the hollowborn all over the city. The grieving families, the refugees. She shakes her head. How could Magran allow us to suffer like this? What strength do we gain from a soulless child? I mean, it's not really Magran's domain, though. Durrance grunts with disdain. What strength do we gain from adversity? From trial and test? The fires don't wither because she lacks in faith. They wither because she does not understand how to be faithful to a whore. Oh, wait. What? Are you insulting Magran? A whore wants neither praise nor devotion. A whore wants to be compensated for her services, and Magran is paid and pleasured in sweat and struggle and pain. This mewling imbecile is unworthy of Magran's womanly heat. Please don't put it that way. Shrug. And this is shaking your faith? Take heart, and don't abandon your faith too easily. She nods hopefully, her hands clasped together. You're right, and fortunately, I believe Magran's been speaking to me again. She casts a quick glance in your direction. What, you think through us? Oh no. This will likely sound so far-fetched to someone like you. Probably not as much as you think. Lately, I've been seeing visions. A place in the wilderness with pools filled with sunbursts of color. Strange falls that seem to rise to the heavens even while they splash into the earth. She raises her hands as if framing an image of her vision. And behind the falls is a cave, filled with fire and heat and danger, and some token of my goddess. I know there's something there, but where it is, or how I'd get there, she shakes her head. I've been meaning to ask around at the expedition hall to see if anyone recognizes the description. To be honest, though, I don't know what I'd do even if I found the place. I mean, I can keep an eye out. Worthless, like so many of Magran's flock, afraid of her god's tests. If Magran speaks to her, it is to hasten to an end to a hypocrite's life, and this vision is surely a death trap for the weak. Durrance has a very different relationship with Magran than the rest of her followers, it seems. I'd like to know more about the temple here. Magran is the most revered goddess among us dear Woodens, so it's no surprise that her temple is part of the ducal palace. Her fires symbolize trials, revolutions, and the blazing of new paths, all of which are important to us. She gestures to the statue. This is the first of the sacred pyres. When this is lit, so are the rest around the city. Something else? And what's the significance of those pyres? They symbolize Magran's power and guidance. Right now, the people of Defiance Bay need to be assured of her presence. She crosses her arms, staring at the statue. Our neighbors in the Valian Republic see us as superstitious, but we're just sensitive to the signs and warnings of the gods. Well, like I said, I'll keep an eye out. A lot of Justicars here. Obviously can't go in there. The records keeper.
Greetings.
A taciturn man with graying hair pores over a tome he's just withdrawn from one of the shelves. He glances up at you with baggy eyes. Yes? Is there something I can pull for you? I mean... Oh, yes, Editor! I'm looking for militia records from the time of the Saints' War, trying to find out what happened to someone. The man clears his throat. We've had a number of inquiries about such information. I'm afraid we've had to bar access to the public. Damn it. Seems there are still quite a number of folk in Darewood who bear ill will towards Red Sirens. It would be irresponsible to surrender their names to just anyone. Many came to settle here as refugees. Actually, fair enough. I actually kind of respect that. Good work. We'll just have to prove ourselves to you then. Perhaps if you were more established in Defiance Bay, things would be different. But I have no reason to suspect you to be any different from the others. Alright, farewell. We'll be back. Suppose we should head back down to the Temple of Wodica. Wodica, I mean. We demand to see the Duke. What do you want to see the Duke for? I didn't want to come here, but my village wasn't safe anymore. I mean, yeah. But why do you need to see the Duke? I don't think just anyone can see the Duke. Definitely not any commoner.
Politics.
Let alone a...
Greed. And a shrine to Margaret as well. Her clergy belongs there.
Yeah, he's not a fan of the... He was probably... Actually, do I know anything about his story? Because I think he was probably a priest of Magrin and had a falling out with the rest of her clergy. Yeah. Oh, my reputation. Benevolent, a little bit. A little clever, a little diplomatic, a little passionate, a little rational, a little honest. Oh, fair enough, fair enough. Still kind of curious how that affects options and stuff. Or maybe once we become especially known for one of those things, it'll affect dialogue with people. The Crucible Keep. Oh, this is where the right, this is where the Justicars are trained. We had a quest here, didn't we? Yeah. Should we do that now? Yeah, we can at least look around. If I deem it safe to steal the breastplate back, then we can do it.
As you wish.
What business brings you to the keep? Oh, you know, to sing the place.
Well met, friend.
Aldmar gives you an appraising eye. Judging by the scars on his face, he's lucky to be able to do that much. Every day we get more from the hinterlands pouring into Defiance Bay. Keeps us busy on the watch, it does. You look like you were recently arrived yourself. I have information about Aorn. Do I? Who's Aorn? I have to check my journal. Who are you? A soldier of the Crucible Knights, and proud of it. I help keep everything running at the keep so that Commander Cliver can focus on more important matters. Looking for something? Or just knocking the dirt off your boots? What goes on in the Crucible Keep? This is the headquarters of the Crucible Knights, so it's where we store arms and armor as well as where many of our soldiers bunk. Commander Cliver's in the back, making plans, as usual. He scratches a scarred cheek. You'll find the forge at the west end of the building, along with our master smith Dunstan. There's also a shrine to the golem, if you're the praying type. To the golem, huh? Tell me about the Crucible Knights. We're the defenders of Defiance Bay. We're not exactly a formal knighthood, but don't tell Commander Cliver I said that. He grins. We were the first organized militia to oppose Adaran rule, and today we're the largest force in the city. Our soldiers undergo years of combat training, and our officers are required to have their souls read by that critter out in Dunrid Row. What's this about Dunrid Row? Just a requirement of the Crucible Knights, so the higher-ups know there's nothing messy built in your soul's past. Aldmar widens his stance. Keeping the ranks pure is fine by me. I just wish they were more careful in hiring their ciphers. Oh, what's wrong with their ciphers? I am a cipher, you know. Maybe I could help. He shifts his weight and glances at the empty hall. They're mostly Orlans. I'm sure they're talented enough, but you just can't trust them. Hostility's in their nature, and they've learned to hide it over the years. That sounds a little racist. He frowns and crosses his arms. All I'm saying is they should at least be supervised by other folk. That's reasonable enough, isn't it? Oh, geez, if I was an Orlan. I don't want to start a confrontation with him, though. If people treated them better, you wouldn't have to worry about them being so hostile. Yeah, let's go with that. Aldmar shrugs. I'm just speaking the truth. Nowadays, it seems that's the biggest crime of all. Oh, God. I'll talk to you in a minute after I figure out who Eorn is. Oh, here we go. The Crucible Knights are calling for the arrest of an Orlan man named Eorn. Apparently he's eluded capture thus far, though the Knights continue to hunt for him. Oh, he was the guy underneath in the sewers. Or in the, crypts. The underground. Yeah, I'm not going to turn him in. Especially now that I know they don't exactly treat Orlans well here. There's Dunstan. Tongs, hardies, hammers, fullers, and punch tools hang from the wall.
If this is about the breastplates, I already told Cleaver they won't be repaired till next week.
Your audio was a little sputtery there, Dunstan. And what do you do here? Actually, the dwarf bustles between a sweltering forge fire and a work table. He wipes one muscle-knotted arm across his brow. What do you do here?
I'm a forge master. I'm a master smith for the Crucible Knights. But the way I see it, I'm also keeping up with our old traditions.
Fair enough.
The first members of our order were smiths. Nowadays, most everyone's a professional soldier. I suppose it's to be expected, but I think it's important we keep up with our roots, too.
For sure. Also, having smiths is, especially for an order like this, is highly valuable. Something else on your mind? Tell me about the Knights.
We were all smiths back in Hodred's day, though I'm about the only one here who still gets his hands dirty. We're a fearsome fighting force, though these days I think Cleaver takes more pride in our parade formations.
You don't respect him, then? He thinks himself a progressive man, but he's obsessed with soul lineages and connections to the Deerwood's heroes of old. He picks up his hammer again. Other than that Dunrid Row, who really knows about any of that, though? Also, you have your initiate over there. You have an apprentice. So it's not just you. No, sorry, not the initiate. The novitiate. Now, where is... Oh, there's Penhelm. Hey, Penhelm.
Gods keep you.
The young novitiate's armor has recently shined, and his hair is clean and neatly combed. It's hard to believe he's ever seen battle, or that the scarred antique breastplate he wears could possibly be his. So he's wearing it. That's a problem. Are you looking for something? Tell me about then. How does someone become a knight? We don't take just anyone. Our members share soul legacies with the very men and women who defended this land a century and a half ago. He shifts his weight and coughs. Anyhow, Commander Cliver is responsible for initiations, but he rarely accepts foreigners. Is there anything else? Tell me about the Knights of the Crucible. We're the primary defenders of Defiance Bay. The Order's founders were the first to rally for their wooden independence. He waves his hand. Of course, that's ancient history now. Now we're the most prestigious company of soldiers in the Deerwood. It's a glorious line of work. He scrunches up his nose. If you can forget about the barracks, that is. Osric. Rogue Knight? No. Yeah. Unlikely to return it willingly. We could wait for him to fall asleep, maybe.
Well met, friend.
Does the name Osric sound familiar? He sniffs. If you've got any self-respect, you won't associate with him, or with any of his new friends at the Expedition Hall, for that matter. Scamps and delinquents, a lot of them. What's the story between you two? Osric has always held some controversial opinions, but they went overlooked for the longest time because his family has such an extensive history of service in the Crucible Knights. He frowns and crosses his arms. He finally went too far. He had the gall to suggest that we had strayed too far from our roots, that some of our officers were beginning to resemble Edir nobility. Ooh. He rubs a spot on his bracers with a silk handkerchief. He would have us all wear rough spun and fight with forge hammers. I merely reported his statements. Is that really all you did? The Knights obsessed over their past. They wouldn't have grown into the fighting force they are today. I mean, I'm not looking to take sides here or anything like that. It's not my fight. History made the Knights who they are. Can't just cast it aside. I don't see the problem. He sputters. People change. Organizations change. The Crucible Knights began as a militia of blacksmiths, but Dunstan's one of the only officers who can wield a hammer these days. We're professional soldiers. Isn't that who you want defending a city? Yeah. Besides, a novitiate has no business maligning his superiors. I see. Is that his breastplate you're wearing? It was. He looks down and admires it. It became property of the Crucible Knights when he was discharged. Now, it's mine. And it's not for sale, if that's what you're wondering. Not every day you find armor that was used in the rebellion. I see. He says your affidavit was a forgery. Let's just come out with it. Just what would he know about that? It's perfectly convenient for him to cast aspersions. What with his pedigree in the Knights? He folds his arms. He blinks at you. It's a lie, of course. That should be perfectly obvious to someone as logical as you. I see. Well, I'll see you around. I need to get that breastplate for him. I need to get in on his good side. Right. So he says I could find the affidavit in Crucible Keep. Penhelm doesn't appear to be keen on parting with Osric's armor she's presently wearing. More leverage is required. Yeah. Find his affidavit. I mean, could start breaking into their stuff, but that's probably a last resort. Thick grime cakes the bottom of the tub. The towel hanging from the side gives off an awful stench. Oh, there we go. Curran, a cipher duly appointed and employed by Dunrid Rowe, does hereby certify that novitiate A.M. Penhelm has been found to have a soul free of any subversive influences or tainted essence. The scroll is stamped with the seal of Dunrid Rowe and signed by both Penhelm And Kieran. Suppose we should go talk to the cipher. Oh, hey, we leveled. Don't mind me. I'm not stealing anything. Not much. This painting shows a row of warriors standing atop the walls of Defiance Bay while Edair ships sail away. Daily affirmations of the focus and efficiency. Oh. Rules for the Crucible Knights, then. All errors can be reforged into lessons. Abaddon rebuilt himself from ruin. Oh, you know, that reminds me. I wanted to look at this cyclopedia. Okay. The question I had earlier about the whole Temple of Vodika, this is why I had the idea that it was in the center of the city, is because, right, that's what it sort of said. That's what Merwald implied. But he hasn't visited the city in who knows how long, so I guess his information was out of date. If I had gone there first, I would have found it burned and had to have found. Who knows, maybe I would have gotten a quest update to search for clues or something. Alright. There's something else I wanted to look up earlier, but I forgot what it was. This is the symbol of Abaddon, a colossal smithing hammer imposed over a circular gear, smooth and bright with buffing oils. All right. Oh, there's Commander Cliver.
Don't have the manpower.
How are you doing?
Refugees from every corner of the Deerwood. The dozens getting them all riled up about animancy. At this rate, we'll need twice the soldiers to patrol Defiance Bay.
That sounds like a
Can I help you with something?
like a losing battle there. Yes, Commander Claver stands in front of a massive table studying a map. His expressions is set in a grim frown. He opens his mouth to say something to one of his men, but he follows the soldier's gaze over his shoulder to you. Why don't you have enough soldiers?
Fleetbreaker Castle. The High Justice has summoned almost half of my novitiates,
Oh,
and
jeez.
more of my justiciars to a keep on the other side of New Haelmar. It's not for me to question the High Justice's orders, but it's left us short-handed. And mark me, we're just a couple sparks away from anarchy.
Oh, I have seen. This city is a tinderbox right now. And a lot of people are playing with matches. Interesting that, so the Crucible, this is not the Crucible Knights' main headquarters then? There's someone higher up the food chain than you? That's what it sounds like, at least. Is there any way I can help? I know how to handle myself. With so many newcomers, can't you just recruit more soldiers? More recruits means more training, which means more time from experienced soldiers that I don't have. Yeah, in the short term, but it will pay off. It will pay dividends in the long term, though. He half turns away from you. Anyhow, I can hardly see how this is any of your concern. But if you've got the time to ask me about it, then perhaps you've got time to do something constructive. I might. Forge Master Dunstan is working with an animancy scholar to build what we're calling Forge Knights. Warriors that can patrol our streets without suffering fatigue, disobedience, or fear. So golems. Some agitator throws a rock at them, and we don't have to worry about things getting out of hand. He's constructed the armor, but we need the scholar's research. Unfortunately, she hasn't been around the last few times my novitiates have checked. I'm a little worried about this research. These kinds of things often go haywire. Bianna lives with the rest of the Scriveners out in Copper Lane, but I haven't the soldiers to spare at the moment. Go to the Scrivener's dormitory and see if you can find her. When you get the research, just bring it to Dunstan. This is his area of expertise anyway. Once you've brought him the research, he can sell you any arms or armor if you have need. He forges and repairs all of our equipment. You won't find a more capable smith in Defiance Bay. Oh, well, I appreciate it. Was there something else I can do for you? You're in charge of the Crucible Knights? Here in Defiance Bay, anyhow. The High Justice is the leader of our order, but he's currently stationed at Fleetbreaker Castle. My job is to oversee our forces in Defiance Bay and to keep order for the Duke. I see. Tell me about the Knights of the Crucible. He crosses his hands behind his back. We're the only professional army in Defiance Bay, or in the Darewood for that matter. We defended the city at Hadrat and Hadrat's Day. We've improved our training since then, but Dunrid Rowe can certify that many of our officers come from good Derwooden fighting stock. Now we're responsible for patrolling the city and keeping the peace. With so many refugees pouring in from the countryside, that's become more important than ever. Unfortunately, that's earned us enemies, particularly among the dozens and some of the more enterprising families in Defiance Bay. Right. Yeah. It's not surprising. I have the feeling I'm going to have to pick sides eventually. As in, raising my reputation with the dozens will hurt me with them and vice versa. What do the dozens have against you? He snorts. They're demagogues and troublemakers. They forget that Defiance Bay is one of the largest cities in the world and not some frontier outpost. Most of them are mercenaries on a good day and street thugs the rest of the time. Needless to say, they've no patience for law and order. And what about these enterprising families? House Domino, namely. They're one of the city's oldest noble families and its largest criminal organization. And of course, even though you know it's a criminal organization, because they are, well, one of its largest, oldest noble families, probably one of its most powerful, you can't do anything, you can't act against them. Their patriarch, Gedmar, has been trying to take advantage of the turmoil to expand his operations. We've kept on top of him. He hasn't been too happy about that. I see. Is there something else I can do for you? No, that was all, thank you. The Justiciars. I didn't even see that last eye. This edict calls for the arrest of Aorn, whose recent actions have led to the death of a Knight of the Crucible. It requests reporting any information to Justiciar Aldmar, the assigned Commander Cleaver. Yeah, I'm not going to do that to him. I'll take both of these, though, actually.
Well?
All right. Anything else in here that we need to see? I guess just the training room, really. Wyla. We need to deal with Heritage Hill. What's happening at Heritage Hill again? The Justiciar's gaze flicks over to you briefly before returning to the novitiates gathered in the training area. This is what, Oslin was doing. If this is about patrols, my novitiates are already stretched to their limit. Between the refugee influx and the mess at Heritage Hill, I simply don't have any units to spare. After a pause, she looks over at you again. I'm sorry, was there something else you need? Something wrong at Heritage Hill? She lowers her voice. What isn't wrong is the real question. A whole district of walking, flesh-eating corpses. Right. Yikes. We sealed the area 2 months ago, just after I lost one of my finest commanders there. And yet this is the second guard rotation to disappear. There are already enough rumors about the place floating around the keep without my soldiers whispering about these appearances. She shakes her head. I'd just as soon abandon the district. But if those monsters should find a way out, that would be bad. Tell me about Heritage Hill. Used to be one of the most prestigious districts in Defiance Bay. But a few months ago, the residents all went mad, started eating each other, and anything else that had the bad luck to wander into the district. I've never seen anything like it. Now, every novitiate that stands guard there, every one that comes back anyway, talks of the stench of the grave and the groans of unspeakable horrors. She holds up one plate-clad finger. The why and the how are questions for the animancers. I've sealed the district in hopes of containing whatever happened there. It seems to be working. For now. I see. So you said something was wrong there? I could look into it. She steps back and regards you. After what I've just told you, you would go to Heritage Hill. I've lost trained soldiers there. Why should I let anyone in? I mean, someone's got to investigate, right? People are disappearing. Someone's got to figure out what's happening to them. If you're so eager to rush to your death, I won't stop you. She quietly looks on at the novitiates. And if you're somehow able to put a stop to this... Yes. You've got my permission to enter Heritage Hill. I'll send word to the guards at the gate. Thank you. What exactly do you do here? I'm in charge of the keep's novitiates. I'm responsible for their training and patrol assignments. She nods at the group gathered at the training room. They're good soldiers, and they've been quick to adapt to new challenges. All right. More tasks piling up. Well, I'm not sure which we'll pursue next. We go down back into the sewers. Or we could handle a few of these quests along the way. I do want to go find this Kieran fella. And I figure I might as well go to the Brackenberry. Get that tome, the grimoire, before heading back. Yeah, I suppose we'll do that next.